Hello, today I'll be discussing topic B. There are many situations where individuals are not able to cooperate, even though cooperation would make everyone better off. This concept can be explained by game theory and a game called the prisoner's dilemma. Today we will look at how the prisoner's dilemma can be used to explain why it is so difficult for athletes to make the right choice when it comes to doping. For simplicity, we will assume these athletes are running in a race. It is assumed the fastest one will win. However, it is also assumed that no one will be given any advantages. Sadly, due to new development of performance-enhancing drugs and methods, this is not always the case. If two runners are running in the same race and neither of them has taken any performance-enhancing drugs, the race will be fair. In terms of economics and the prisoner's dilemma, we would consider this mutually beneficial. Neither has an advantage or disadvantage, and neither has to deal with the risks of doping. Sadly, this is not always the choice of athletes. If each of the athletes decides to use doping, they would both be considered at a loss. This is because neither of them would have an advantage in the race, yet they would both have to deal with the risks and consequences. In the case where one of them chooses to dope and the other does not, one is at an unfair advantage. These choices are all described as game theory. Making the decision to dope or not is hard. You never know what your competitors will choose. In terms of economics, the runner has to make a choice between the dominant strategy, in this case doping, or not. A dominant strategy is a strategy that is the best for a person to choose, regardless of the strategies chosen by other people they are interacting with. In this case, doping is the dominant strategy because no matter what your opponent decides, you will never be at a disadvantage. It is important, however, to keep in mind that risks still come with choosing the dominant strategy. There are risks with choosing to dope. You may be disqualified or even physically harmed by the effects. When contemplating which option I think the runner will choose, I must keep in mind the Nash equilibrium, which states each offender is choosing their best strategy, given the strategy the other is choosing. This being said, in terms of economics, I believe both runners would choose to dope, because despite the risk, it is the only one that follows their best interest of winning the race.